All right, I want to go over the information on this next lab, 5-minute code, lab 14a, utilizing the dictionary data set. And the objectives here is to utilize the existing template. I already have your data, your variables set up for my data car has been created. So here is the dictionary definition of the variable of my data car that we're going to be utilizing. And the template, if we look at the main program, it already has the function headers. So when the code is run right now, all we see is the function header, and it's identifying what the output will be for each of the functions that you're going to create the code for. So if we take a look at function 1, you're going to create the code for my print, and in the code here, we're going to scroll up to my print, and we want to print a blank line, print the variable, and print the data type for my data car. So that's going to be for this particular function. Function 2 is going to display the dictionary keys and the dictionary values. Now, again, in order for you to do this lab, you need to look at the learn and code for the dictionary data set so you understand how to create the appropriate syntax to display the information. So once you create all the different functions, the program, when you run it, should look something like this. So for function 1, we're printing out the data for the variable that we created, or that I've created here. So this is the output for this variable. And then we're identifying the data type is going to be class dictionary. For function number 2, we're identifying what the keys are for the variable. We're going to display make, model, year, and miles. So we're going to display this information. Again, you want to utilize the correct syntax to do the print statement with. And then you're going to be utilizing the dictionary values to display the actual values that correspond to make, model, year, and miles. Function number 3 is specifically picking out a specific entry. Here I'm utilizing make. So we're going to display the make is Chevy and identifying what type of data type it is, and this is a class string. So here is the make, and again, you need to create the appropriate print statement to display this entry out here. Function number 4 is utilizing the myPrintYear. So you're going to display the year and identify the data type for that entry here. And then when we get to function 5, this is a little bit different. So if we look at what's required, you're going to display the current value for the year. You're going to prompt the user to enter a new year, and then display the data type for the year that was entered, and then display the updated value for my data utilizing the myPrintYear. So if we look at the code that I have outlined for you here, so again, this is basically my change year. Coming over here to my change year, display the stored value of year, prompt the user to change the year, and then display the updated by calling your print year function. So this line right here, you're going to call the other function to print out the year. So let's take a look to see how this works. You can see at the bottom, the current year is 2010. We'll change that to 2000. And then the output is going up here. So the data variable is, so we see that we have the output. And actually, I have an error in my code. I'm actually displaying the entire data set. Instead of displaying the entire data, I wanted to print out the year, which I have a slight little error. So let me fix that. All right, so I fixed the code, and let's see. We're going to go back here and change the year to 2000. and you notice that the year had outputted, so the year is 2000, and the data type here is now class string. So again, for this particular problem, for function 5, where did it go here? So we're going to add 3 lines of code, display the current year, prompt the user to change the year, and then display the updated year. So you're going to be basically calling this one. So this function is calling this particular function. So the output would look something along like this. And then for number 6, we're doing something a little bit different. So add item. So number 6 here, add the type of entry to add. So when we look at the data type right now, we see that we have make, model, year, and miles. And what I want to do is add, for example, color. And actually, let me do it lowercase. And we'll say that this is going to be blue. And once that is done, we also want to prompt the user to add a new entry for the element that we created. So then we see that we have entered a new item here. So we have a new key called color, and the value for that is blue. And then you're going to display the updated of my card data utilizing the print, the my print. So when you look at the code for this one here, we are basically adding an item, prompt the user to add a new entry, enter a new value, add the new entry to with the user input to my data car. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to display the updated by calling the year, the print year, not the print year, that would be the print, my print. So you're going to call this to display, and when that is displayed, it basically will display all this. So then we see that we have an updated variable that includes a new key and a new value. And then again, we're displaying that this is a class int. And then our last function that you're going to do is you're going to print the information in a nice printed format. So all the information that we added, so you notice how the things are all aligned. So this is aligned and this is aligned. So when you look at the code, my card data with the update. And the other thing you notice that when you have, and you need to look at the specific syntax to make the output, because you notice that the make, model, year, and miles here are all lowercase, and the output here is uppercase. So there is a Python keyword that will convert or display a capital letter for the output, and then we'll output basically the values there in a formatted fashion. And that is it. So you're just writing a couple lines of code. Again, you want to look at the learn and code to make sure that you're doing this correctly. Now also, if you look at my template code, all the functions I have outlined, and it has this particular line, and you notice you need to remove this line when you create your own code. And the reason I have this in there is because when I was testing the template out, I want to make sure that message headers and everything else was working. So when you enter your own code, remove this. Otherwise, it will get unexpected results. All right, and that is it for this particular lab.